Ladies, gentlemen, and people of all countries, cities, counties, we're back. Week 4 of NFL has concluded. I gotta be honest with you, Sam. Wasn't a good weekend for sports wise, but television wise, it was great. So it's fine. You just got to put like the Commanders game past us, and then we're fine.
Hey, the Nears went off though.
We did, but we played
We
a
we
fucking
fired the Badgers fired Christ. We're all Christ. We're on complete ends of the spectrum, different ends
yeah.
of the spectrum in terms of college football. But NFL, like you said,
Can't wait for our um natty
our
championship
our
pod
one college
where I
football
can finally just like
podcast every
spew.
year.
Yeah, I could spew like everything college football related. It's fine though, because like on our like student radio show, it's like only college football based. So I like let everything out there. And then like NFL wise, let it all here. NFL is
Okay.
better anyway, so like you should listen to this podcast. Um Week 4 NFL. Let's get it going. Takeaway Tuesday. No Sully. He just got back from his trip to Germany, but he'll be back on the next episode. But for now, me and Sam are holding down the fort here on this highlighted podcast. Um, I'll get us started.
Okay.
I want to talk about the Kansas City Chiefs because they played Sunday Night Football against the Buccaneers. I had Buccaneers money line. They were a 4-point underdog at home. Liked the chances. Thought it could be not a trap game, but I thought Kansas City almost would be like a mistake-driven game. Tampa Bay came off the loss to Green Bay. Just kind of felt like the stars aligned in that sense. No, it's not what happened. Kansas City got the win, and we talked about it pre-pod. They were up early, and ever since then, it was just Chiefs all the way. And I think everyone can agree, maybe outside of the Eagles, that Kansas City is the best team in the NFL. Them and Eagles, I think, are tier 1, and everyone else is below them. The Chiefs, what they do so well is doesn't matter who leaves. Tyreek Hill goes to Miami, but they still have the production offensively to get it done. Their run game has been much better this year, which we talked about it in the offseason a lot. Like Kansas City, and we see this primarily with Buffalo and Miami, teams that don't have a dynamic running game. You just make up for that running with short screens. You can still utilize your running backs, but not in the common way of just primarily using them in handoff situations. You can get them involved and your wide receivers involved in short yardage, yard after catch plays. But Kansas City, we thought that's the direction they would take, and they really haven't taken that. Eric Bieniemy and Andy Reid have done a fantastic job of utilizing Clyde, utilizing their running backs. And obviously, from a production standpoint, Travis Kelce's pretty much the biggest one who offensively is getting it done. And Patrick Mahomes just looks incredible. This Chiefs team has not lost a step from last season. They almost look better because we saw plenty of opportunities, plenty of instances, especially in the first end of last year, where they did not look like a good team, and they are looking fantastic. We know what Mahomes does in the months of September and October. He is absolutely dominant, and he's continually doing that into this season as well. So the Kansas City Chiefs won last night. What was the official score? 41-31. Tampa was kind of coming back at the end, but if you watch the game, it was Kansas City the whole way. The scoreline's not truly indicative of what happened. But I want to say what's kind of funny is like, out of these two teams, you would think that Tampa Bay would have the much better running game, and they could not get anything going on the running game last night. Leonard Fournette only had 3 carries and was for -3 yards. Like we talked about it with the Rams in their first game against the Bills. That just wasn't going to happen with Cam Akers, who got 3 attempts for 0 yards. Now, on the flip side, 3 attempts for -3 yards for Leonard Fournette. I know he did a lot out of the backfield and pass catching situations. He caught a receiving touchdown, but still, that's not going to work. And I will say the offense wasn't the biggest problem because they still put up 31 points. Tom Brady still had a great game. That's funny because, like, I know we didn't really agree with the takeaway on our takeaways about Tom Brady's really showing his age. But really, I know it's only a 1-game sample size, but pretty much the answer was he's finally getting his weapons back, and he's going to throw the ball 52 times in this game, and he's going to have nearly 400 yards and 3 touchdowns. Like Tom Brady doesn't age. But did you see what Antonio Brown posted with Giselle? That was the most amazing, fucked up,
so out of nowhere.
I was like, what the fuck is going on?
And he posted that after that video of him
with his like leaked. 1 foot cock just hanging out. Yeah.
Him just in the pool, just showing it off, you know.
Antonio Brown is not a real human being. But again, if the Buccaneers had Antonio Brown, it would again be an electric offense. He is so good. But to go back to what I was saying, the Chiefs are incredible. They have the potential to go to a 5th straight AFC championship. I'm not saying it is, but if they go back to an AFC championship, this is one of the greatest dynasties we've ever seen already. I know the Super Bowls don't automatically add up to it, but going to 5 straight AFC championships, you do not see that. Not even the Patriots could do that. It probably is the only time it's happened.
Wait.
In a row. I don't think they did.
I'll check that. But
I know they've been to 5.
Well, of course they've been to 5, but I'll check that while you.
But yeah, I mean, maybe I've seen it with teams in the past, but my primary focus is it's not common this happens, and I think so many people overlooked it because, like we talked about, this Patriots dynasty, we grew up experimenting. We grew up seeing it firsthand with our own eyes on our television, and now when the Kansas City is replicating it in a sense, going to so many AFC championships, going to 2 Super Bowls, I think it was, even though they lost one at Tampa Bay, they won the one against the 49ers. Like, it's very impressive. If they win a Super Bowl, go to 5 straight AFCs, go to 3 Super Bowls with 2 of them, that is a hell of a resume. And at that point, it would just, no one could dispute it is keyword one of, because obviously we still have the Patriots, greatest dynasties we've seen. So Chiefs are back, and for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, you got some work to do. I don't want to say it's a bad year because they won the first 2 games. They're still 2-2. It's early in the year. Very similar to what we saw with this Buccaneers team that went to the Super Bowl. First half of the year had a lot of problems. And it's primarily on the defensive side. Like, their defense will click. They still have Todd Bowles as their head coach. Like, he obviously, if you're going to want to figure it out from a guy, he's the guy you're going to have to figure it out from. This offense, I think, is fine. It was a little worrisome against Green Bay, but it was definitely not the problem in this game against Kansas City. So basically my take, Kansas City looks very legit. If you're Tampa Bay, you got things you got to fix, especially defensively, but they'll figure it out. I think Tampa's going to be fine. And especially with that division being terrible, like the Saints obviously lost in London. Carolina looks like the worst team ever. The Falcons could make some noise, and I think you'll touch a little bit about that because you might have a take on them, but I don't think anyone's really thinking wholeheartedly that the Falcons are going to win the division over the Bucs.
So you don't think the Patriots have been to 5 straight AFC championships?
I thought it was 4. Is it like 6?
From 2011 through 2018.
There is no shot. There's no shot.
In 2011, they lost the Super Bowl to the Giants.
Correct.
In 2012, they lost the conference finals to the... What year was that? Was that the...
That wasn't the Broncos. That was 13.
No, that wasn't the Broncos. This is the Ravens. They lost to the Ravens that year. 2013, they lost to the Broncos. 2014, they won the Super Bowl against the Seahawks. 2015, they lost to the conference finals to the Broncos. 2016, they won the Super Bowl against the Falcons. 2017, they lost in the Super Bowl against the Eagles. In 2018, they won the Super Bowl.
All right. I'm sorry. I was wrong.
That is...
I really did not think it was...
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 AFC championships in a row.
I really did not think it was that much. But...
Sorry, go ahead.
The point still remains. If the Chiefs do it for 5 straight years, very fucking impressive. No one's really talking about it because of what we saw with the Patriots. So honestly, it helps my point even more. So fuck everyone that's making fun of me right now. Because it's fine.
I'm not detracting from the Chiefs at all. Can I just make that clear?
Oh, I know you weren't. I know you weren't.
I'm
But
just saying the Patriots dynasty is a whole different breed than what we've seen in sports.
Sure. But the Chiefs are on pace to do something similar in the realm.
Okay. Well, one Super Bowl out of 4 AFC championships. We got to see if they win the Super Bowl this year,
Well,
obviously.
Did you not hear me? I said
I know. I heard what you said. You don't have to repeat. I mean, Patriots won 3 Super Bowls out of 4 years. You know how crazy that? Oh God.
Next time it's gonna happen is the Commanders starting this year. I hate that team.
Coming back. All right, but I'll chime in a little bit on the Chiefs. I think they're in position to just run away with this division at this point. I mean, coming into this year, everyone was like, the AFC West. Holy shit, this is the greatest division ever. No, they haven't. Chiefs have been great. I know they traded Tyreek Hill, but their offense is just going absolutely electric. Lightning bolts are shooting from Patrick Mahomes' fingertips. And
that one throw he had was bonkers.
Oh, where he scrambled to the right, went up to the I don't know who was trying to tackle him, but they're like, is he about to throw a touchdown right now? And then bro just lobbed it. It was Mahomes is the best quarterback in football. Okay. Can we just stop? Like, you could argue Lamar has been the best quarterback in the league so far this year, but Mahomes is the best just in general. But the Chiefs' offense is great. Their defense has been really good so far. And if they hadn't lost because of special teams last week against the Colts, we're talking about this team as easily the number 1 team in the NFL. I don't think anyone would debate that the Eagles would be above them had they beat the Colts last week. I think everyone would agree that the Chiefs are the best team in the NFL. I think they are currently. I still think the Bills are up there, of course. It's just the Chiefs have been more consistent, and the Bills, obviously, they lost the game against Miami. Then they looked really rough, obviously, this week against the Ravens, and then came back. But the point I wanted to bring up with the AFC West, obviously the Chiefs are going to run away with this division. I think that's pretty clear at this point because we'll get to the Broncos and the Raiders later. But those teams, obviously, yikes starts from both of them. And then obviously the Chargers, which we brought up last week. I still think they could be a playoff wildcard team. I mean, I was so high on the Chargers coming into this year, but typical Chargers curse of them getting injured to hell and back is already upon them. So I don't think this team is going to win the division anymore, in all honesty. But I still believe in them as a wild card team. The Chiefs just have this in the bag. I honestly, I don't see why they wouldn't unless Mahomes snaps his wrist. But let's hope that never happens. Knock on wood. And yeah, I'm in agreement with you. And let's not disregard this. They hung 41 points on Tampa Bay's defense in their house. Now, I know they had the whole hurricane thing going on this week, which may have fucked up their practicing and game planning and all that. Whatever. It's a terrible tragedy. So that may have played into it. But Tampa Bay's defense so far this year, I think, hasn't even allowed over 41 points combined. I could do the math on that right now, but the Chiefs just ran up the score against that defense, and that defense is probably the best in the league. It's up there with like the 49ers and all that. So, yeah, they're just a different breed. Really got nothing else to say. They're just goated. They're goated.
I want to say, very off topic before we move on.
Mm-hmm.
You want to know who the Manning cast guest star for tonight? Stacked cast, by the way.
I saw Jalen Hurts is in it.
Jalen Hurts, Steph Curry, and John Hamm. I was like, let's have a show. I saw that. I was like, damn.
Do you watch the Manning cast for?
I usually watch the regular broadcast because I love Buck, so I want to watch that. Notice how I didn't say Aikman.
I'm with you. I love Joe. We both love Joe Buck, but Troy Aikman's the worst, but yes.
But like I think it's a bit overrated, the Manning cast, but I'm gonna watch it this week just because stacked cast. And it had a feature on SNL, so I have to watch that. So all right, moving on. Let's hear it. Let's hear your next take.
All right. Well, since if you guys already know, I write the takeaways for ASC's post.
Senior NFL writer Sam.
That's me.
He's the man.
And I'm just gonna steal one from it because I think this is completely true, and I'm just gonna say it. The Pittsburgh Steelers turn into a bottom 5, maybe bottom 3 team in football without TJ Watt. I have never seen a team where it's not the quarterback that gets hurt, but it's another player have such a profound impact on that team's identity, that team's performance, and how we perceive them. Let's take a look at the numbers, shall we? The Pittsburgh Steelers, without TJ Watt, reigning defensive player of the year, since he was drafted in 2017, TJ Watt has missed 7 games. How many games do you think the Steelers have won?
Out of those 7 games?
Yes.
1.
0.
Okay.
They are 0-7. You would think they'd win yesterday, but of course, no. They lose to the Jets at home.
That's terrible. That's terrible.
Their points allowed per game. What do you think it is without TJ Watt?
29.
27.
All right.
How much did the Jets score yesterday? I actually don't know.
I don't know.
This stat comes before the Jets game yesterday. But the 0-7 is updated. Because okay. I did the math in my head.
You added the 1? That's pretty good.
I did that myself. And then their sacks per game without TJ Watt. What do you think it is?
1.5.
You are correct.
Better than Commanders. We got none. So
their defense takes such a significant fall off a cliff when that man is not in the football game.
Yeah.
And in the past, I'm a big Myles Garrett over TJ Watt guy. I think Garrett is the better player, but that whole defense is built around TJ Watt. You could just tell how it is. Then they have Alex Highsmith, who's a good player, by the way, stepping in that number 1 role. It's just not the same. The D-line plays worse. The coverage has to be better because those guys aren't getting home quicker, and their defense just absolutely collapses. And then you get to the offense side of the ball. And I'll save Kenny Pickett for you to talk about because I know he's your boy. But this offense, we've known this for years now, and this is including the twilight years, if you even want to call it twilight, because a twilight is a beautiful thing. Ben Roethlisberger's past few years were not a beautiful thing. But in the twilight years of Ben Roethlisberger, we knew this offense was bad. Ben Roethlisberger could not take 3 steps outside of the pocket at all. He just was physically unable to. And that restricted their offense greatly. And they were bad for it. Their offense the past few years were bad. Remember when they started 11-0? That was because of their defense. And TJ Watt was healthy that whole year.
And now in the first round that year. So that worked out well.
Exactly. To the Cleveland Browns.
To Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, for real. And now the Steelers are 1-3. And they nearly lost week 1, by the way, where their offense just absolutely shut down. They're 1-3, and their upcoming schedule, they just lost to the Jets, the New York Jets, where Zach Wilson looked absolutely horrible in the first 3 quarters. He did turn it on in the second half, or the fourth quarter. I'll give him that. But that was his first game back from injury, and they looked like that at home. And then obviously you get to the offensive side of the ball where they couldn't move on the Jets defense. George Pickens looked good, give him that, but Najee Harris can't go into the run game. This offensive line is so bad. The whole unit on both sides of the ball just isn't performing well. And it's just, since TJ Watt's out, their team just got so much worse. So they're 1-3 right now. I remember talking about this preseason with you guys. What do we think the Steelers would start? And we said Bengals, Patriots, Browns, Jets. I think we all said like 2-2 minimum. Well, they're 1-3. A lot of us probably thought 3-1, maybe 4-0. And then now they have to face the Bills, the Bucks, the Dolphins, the Eagles, and then the Saints, the Bengals, and then they still have to play their 2 games against the Ravens later in the year. They'll have to face the Deshaun Watson Browns eventually. It's just not looking good.
Are we going to get a losing season from Mike Tomlin?
I might say that might be happening, especially with how long TJ Watt's going to be out. Sounding like he'll be late November.
Oh, shit. I thought it was only like till like week 7.
I think it's longer than that. I think it's like mid to late November. But
that's tough.
This team looks horrible. And I'll let you talk about Pickett because obviously Mitch was not it at quarterback. And I'm glad that they finally just said, fuck it, we're ripping the Band-Aid off and going to Kenny Pickett and not messing around with this bridge QB stuff. And they're going with Pickett. Tell me about Pickett. How'd you feel about it?
I mean, he didn't play well, but we all knew there was a good chance he wasn't going to play well early on in his career. But like we talked about many times on this pod, there's no point of having Mitch Trubisky because Mitch Trubisky, you already know what you're going to get out of him. We saw it many times in Chicago. Everyone wants to say, oh, it's Chicago's fault in Buffalo. To an extent, but a great quarterback you can see with your own eyes can sometimes be the better of the coaching staff and what's going on in a certain situation. He just was not performing well in Chicago. So he comes, goes to Buffalo, backs up to Josh Allen. Now he's in Pittsburgh. But he wasn't the worst QB in the league, but he wasn't good. And obviously against the Jets, they had enough of it. And they're like, all right, we're going to go with Kenny Pickett. And Kenny Pickett, like I said, was not that good in this game. But I'd much rather have him play because the Steelers team, no one thinks is a Super Bowl contender by any means. The best is what we're going to see what happened last year. They get a 7 seed. They somehow find their way into the playoffs and just going to get obliterated in week 1 or in the first round of the playoffs. So Kenny Pickett, at least you can see some sort of direction. And in a crazy good QB class next year, not saying they're going to move on from Kenny Pickett, but if Kenny Pickett looks dreadful this year and you end up having a top 5 pick, that discussion obviously will amount and they'll think about that. And that's what I'm saying to any teams is this quarterback class, upcoming draft is so fucking good. If you're in any position to where you're not going to be good, think about taking quarterback. There's only
pick 1 through 5.
Right. The only exceptions could be like if Jacksonville just absolutely like falls apart the back end, which no one expects them to. But if you're like Washington, Pittsburgh, Carolina, that desperately
Falcons, Detroit.
Yeah. Like you're sorry, what?
No, go.
I was just saying, like you desperately need to think about taking quarterback next year. Yeah. And for the Steelers, that case remains too. So Kenny Pickett, I think it's going to be really solid this year. He's much better, I think, than Mitch Trubisky. And the thing also with Kenny Pickett is he's just played for so long. He's 24 years old. He's had over 45 starts in college. You almost have to think, if it doesn't work out from weeks 5 to 17, is it really ever going to? Because we've seen only just a handful of instances in the past year where after their rookie year, they really develop like Jalen Hurts and Josh Allen. But for the most part, we run into those guys in the rookie year and we can get a true sign of what we're going to get in the next couple of years. So I think with Kenny Pickett, I'm glad, like you said, they ripped a Band-Aid. It's not a stupid situation now. Don't even think about moving back to Trubisky. You're not in a position to be anywhere successful. Just focus on the quarterback. You're obviously without your best player right now. At least see what we can get. And like for Pittsburgh, they have great weapons. We knew that was the case for many years now, even under the tenure of Ben Roethlisberger. The weapons aren't playing overly well, but I think a lot of that dictates the QB play. So I think if Pickett can really step up, the offense will be flowing a lot better.
Oh man, Chase Claypool looks rough.
He does.
But I will say during this recording, it has been reported that Kenny Pickett will be the starter the rest of the season. So they committed to that, which is good. I'm glad they ripped this Band-Aid off now, even though this is because we talked about this, like I brought up earlier preseason. When are they going to start Pickett? Because we knew it was going to come. And I don't know if it's the best idea to start him right before a gauntlet of teams they're about to face with the Bills, the Bucks, like throwing him against those defenses right away. Okay. Sure. But I do agree with you that if they started him like week 10, that's probably not enough time to know if he is your quarterback in the future. They probably would give him another year minimum. Whereas if you start him now and your team is dog ass and you end up with the top 5 pick and then are in position to take like Will Levis, you're thinking about it because Kenny Pickett, we know what he was coming out of Pittsburgh. He is a pro-ready quarterback that won't be – he's like Mac Jones. Not as good as Mac Jones coming out, but you know what you're getting, and he'll probably be pretty solid. That's about it. That's why they drafted him, because they wanted to be a playoff team and get in the playoffs with this high floor, low ceiling quarterback. And if Kenny Pickett doesn't work out this year, I agree with you. There's probably not a lot of room for growth because physically he has nothing to work with, and he's not young. He just doesn't have a lot of tools to grow off of like Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts did, where they are physical specimens and true athletes. Kenny Pickett is not that. So interesting to see how this team plays out throughout the rest of the season. But man, like I brought up at the start of this take, have you seen a team lose one player that was not a quarterback fall off this hard? When is the last time you think you've seen that? Not a quarterback. So I really can't think of any.
It's hard to think off the top of my head. I think we could think of some if we did a deep dive, but obviously, to your point, they desperately need him. They don't have him, so that sucks. All right, am I going to move on? Anything else you want to talk about?
I got nothing. You are. Oh, how do you? So say it now. Do the Steelers finish with a less than 7 wins season?
No.
7 or less wins. You don't think so?
I think they still have a winning record.
Really?
I think they go 9-8.
After reading that schedule, do you think they're going to end up 9-8?
Yep. I think they always find a way, and I think it's going to happen again. I'm
starting to lose. So you don't agree with my take that they turn into a bottom 5 team without TJ Watt? Because of how they've looked. Who is better than? Who's worse than them? The Texans?
I mean, you're probably right. Right.
The Texans? Who else is worse than that? The Falcons? Maybe. But I'm liking what the Falcons are showing right now.
I think the Commanders are worse.
Okay, yeah, I can agree with that.
I think the Panthers could be worse too. But yeah, maybe that's it.
But like the Falcons, like they've got stuff to be excited about. The Lions, they got stuff to be excited. I mean, the Bears probably are worse.
Yeah.
But they're in that range for sure.
Yeah.
I do still think they're 9-8. Wow.
We'll see.
I don't know if I could get behind that, even though I was fully with you preseason that this Steelers team will probably get to 9-8 somehow. But after my friend who's a Steelers fan brought this up to me, they turn without TJ Watt, they turn horrible. It's true. It's absolutely true.
All right. I'm gonna move on to my next take. The Indianapolis Colts. So a week ago, I had said I thought ultimately this Colts team was going to be fine. I think they were going to win the division over the Jaguars. They played well relatively against the Kansas City Chiefs, but like we talked about, maybe it was primarily because of the Chiefs' special teams and how they played, which was how Indianapolis got the win. And then they're back home against a division rival Tennessee Titans. And my God, this team, when Jonathan Taylor does not get going, is horrid. Horrid. 2.2 yards per carry from Jonathan Taylor on 20 attempts for 42 yards. And Matt Ryan is not good. He's not looking good whatsoever. And it's bizarre that we're seeing this from this Colts team. We thought they'd be pretty good. A division that still is not that good. And the Jaguars, I know they lost to the Eagles, but it's their division ultimately maybe to win. And for this Colts team, I don't want to panic because I just said it last week that I thought they're going to be fine, get a win against Tennessee, but they didn't get a win against Tennessee. They only put up, 17 points in this game, and they just did not look good whatsoever on both sides of the ball. Now you have Shaquille Leonard. Why did he change his name again? That's so stupid.
It's only first time.
Yeah, I'm saying, why did he change it? It should just be Darius.
I think, is Shaquille his first name? I thought Shaquille was his first name.
Well, now
Darius might be his middle name, and then he changed.
Stupid.
I'll look
now
this
I have to say Shaquille Leonard. I want to say Darius Leonard. That's the guy that I grew up loving.
No, his first name is Darius.
Yeah, but I called him Darius when he was a rookie.
I called him Darius his whole career.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I didn't follow him at South Carolina State. No offense, but I don't know if he was called Darius or Shaquille. Anyway, how long is he out for? How long is he out for?
I think he got a concussion in this game, so probably a week. Well, he's not going to play this week because they have a Thursday night
short
game.
Week, correct.
Who did JT might the Broncos. You want to talk about a game where it's a stoppable force versus a movable object? It's the Denver Broncos versus the Indianapolis Colts on this Thursday night game.
That's so bad. Where is it being played?
I have no idea. It doesn't matter. They're both going to be shitting up a show.
They should play it on a middle school to try and tell them how bad they are. They don't deserve to play in whatever stadium they're about to be. Just send them to a nice small town in Iowa and have them play at a middle school field. They'll get enough fans. Fans will travel.
Oh yeah.
But they don't deserve to play at a big boy stadium.
Neither of those teams do.
No. But this Colts team, man, it's time to panic. They 2-1 at this point. You're only winning against arguably the best team in the league, which is so bizarre. But everything else just looks like a whole mess from Indianapolis. So, Hey, look, Jonathan Taylor being the number 1 overall pick in fantasy. How many times have we seen that the number 1 guy from the previous year? It doesn't always work out the next season. We've seen that time in and time out. And again, it's happening right before our eyes.
Hey, man, this Colts team is just bad. There's no ifs. There's no buts. They're bad. Their offensive line is just bad. Quentin Nelson has not been the same player. They cannot get any push in the run game. I feel like every single play, I don't know if you've watched any Colts games this year.
A little bit.
I wouldn't blame you, but I have as a Jonathan Taylor dynasty owner. So I'm invested in him. Well, not tough. Last year was amazing.
Yeah.
But this year, I swear, every single play, that man just runs up between the center and the guard. I don't think he runs anywhere else. They only call that play. I don't think I've ever seen that man run outside a tackle in my life. I don't know what these run plays are, but they're not working. And they haven't really tried to change anything. They haven't spiced up the run game at all. It's just gross. And then obviously, like you said, Matt Ryan has been bad. Michael Pittman has looked good, but Matt Ryan can't get him the ball. And this offensive line just can't do anything.
When no one can throw you the ball, it doesn't matter how good you are. I'm Terry McLaurin.
Well, this is just a systematic failure from top to bottom. I mean, a lot of people thought Chris Ballard was the best general manager in football 2 or 3 years ago, and that fell off a cliff real fast. Frank Reich.
Think he's going to get fired?
Probably. This is two years in a row where he's banked on a quarterback, where he banked on Carson Wentz last year. He literally apologized to the owner last year.
That's what I'm saying. Can you imagine? Because the trajectory of where Matt Ryan's heading in is worse than I would say than Carson Wentz last year. Can you imagine what he'll say then? He'll be like, fuck everything. we're selling the team. Nothing's working out our way.
Yeah, and this team doesn't go in free agency and spend money. All they do is just re-sign their own players, and they don't have any star players at premium positions. They have a star running back, a star guard, a star linebacker, and then a star defensive tackle. That is their stars. And they have no stars at any, like at quarterback, at tackle, at receiver, or at corner. And those are the 4 positions you want to have stars at. They have stars at like the least star needed position in the league.
I miss Andrew Luck, man.
Dude, I want to know what their team is right now with Andrew Luck, or what
I want to know what Andrew
Luck's
Luck's doing. Is he just like on a farm doing minding his own business? Like,
probably.
This is exactly what we're gonna get from Kawhi when he retires. Or I'm gonna think he's dead. I'm gonna forget about him. But no, prime Andrew Luck on this team. Prime Andrew Luck carried a bad team to an AFC championship.
Yeah.
Like, this is, oh my
God. Where would Andrew Luck rank in quarterbacks right now? Where would he rank?
Like
top 5?
If he was
still playing.
Like 33, 34.
Yeah, he'd be like early 30s right now.
Yeah, he'd be top 5. He'd be like 3.
He was like top 5 before when he retired. Yeah.
Easily.
So would he be above like
I'm going to watch Andrew Luck highlights after this.
I probably will too. I really want to. That man was so good.
But yeah, you know what? They got Carson Wentz and Matt Ryan now, and they suffer the consequences.
Total upgrade from Andrew Luck, right? Yeah. Better to have a quarterback playing than one that's injured, right?
Right. All right.
Speaking of bad quarterback play, I want to ask you something, Curtis.
Yeah.
Who do you think is PFF's highest? I know we hate PFF, but who do you think is PFF's highest graded quarterback through week 4?
Well, given who I think you're going to talk about, I'm going to go with Geno Smith.
Wow, you knew the answer. Geno Smith. Yes, that Geno Smith is PFF's number 1 graded quarterback in the NFL. Not Lamar Jackson, not Josh Allen, not Patrick Mahomes. PFF hates Patrick Mahomes for some reason, by the way. I don't know why.
They can go to bed.
Yeah, I don't know. They hate how loose he is, I guess. They really like, this is what you have to do. Don't be
pocket presence. You need to know a nice firm ball, no trickery on the play.
I mean, that's why they love like Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady too, which, I mean, we all love Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady as well, but we got to talk about the real GOAT here, Geno Smith. I'm going to hit you with some stats right now, just like I did with the Steelers.
You came prepared with the stats, man. I wish I did. Done that.
The highest completion percentage by any quarterback through a team's first 4 games of a season belongs to Geno Smith at 77.3%. Unreal. Geno Smith threw 4 games this season. 102 out of 134. 1,037 yards, 6 tutters, 2 interceptions.
What's his QBR?
No idea.
He didn't come with all the stats.
I did not, but I can look that up when you start talking.
I got it. No, I got it.
Okay. You want to know what Russell Wilson's stats are so far this season?
Shitter, and more shitter.
80 of 131, 61%, 980 passing yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception. He is 2-2. Geno Smith also is 2-2.
All right.
Who do you think leads in EPA? Geno Smith. What is happening?
He has a 108.0 QBR. I want to look how that stacks up against other QBs.
What's his passer rating?
I don't know.
Dude, he had 370 yards yesterday.
All right, he is not number 1 in QBR.
Oh,
but he is top 6. Would you like to hear the top 6?
I bet I could guess them.
Okay.
Lamar. Not in order. Lamar.
Yes.
Allen.
Yes.
Tua.
Yep.
Hurts.
Nope.
No. Okay, Geno.
Yep. 2 more.
Mahomes.
Yes.
Is it like a weird one?
Yep.
That I wouldn't expect?
Cooper Rush.
Oh, yeah. That makes sense. That makes sense, actually.
Yeah.
He's the best ginger quarterback in the league.
I hate Cooper Rush.
I love Cooper Rush.
Someone
He's my
asked
ginger
me
brother,
today,
and Carson Wentz does not show out for
now,
that.
before I say this, I just want to give a disclaimer. I don't actually think this. So if I get canceled because of this, I'm just putting out that disclaimer. So I was doing an interview today, and some guy asked me if you could kill one person in the entire world, who would it be? I immediately said Jerry Jones. Like, it was no hesitation. I was like, Jerry Jones.
Not Kim Jong-un. Just Jerry Jones.
And it could have been his history.
Not Dan Snyder.
It could have been history too. It could have been Hitler. It could have been Stalin.
Oh, history.
I said Jerry Jones.
I'm shocked you didn't pick Dan Snyder. To be honest with you.
I really should have.
But
sorry, that was really off topic. I thought that was funny though.
Geno Smith also not sacked once yesterday. Has only been sacked 6 times. Russ has been sacked 12 times so far this year.
That boy Charles Cross, he's up there in the front holding it down.
Geno was making work with this offensive line that Russ would suffer under. I wonder why. Are we sure that let Russ cook was the right thing? Because it seems like the Seahawks were correct. And last year and the year prior, I have been on Pete Carroll's ass so much. And I will completely admit that I was wrong, that I was on Pete Carroll's ass and saying that you got to let Russ cook. You got to get out of the old times. Well, Shane Waldron came in and he's made this offense like really good. This offense is a nice unit for the Seahawks. It's their defense that's not very good. And they were making work with it when the quarterback plays in the flow of the offense. And I will bring up another quarterback that doesn't do that later and how it suffers their team. Geno Smith is making work with this system. The fucking Seahawks hung 48 points yesterday. They may have let up 45, but they hung 48. The most in the league. Just insane stuff. Got to give Geno his flowers. I mean, he won't be their long-term starter, but I'm sure that they might be in the Bryce Young they might play out of the Bryce Young and CJ Stroud and Will Levis sweepstakes. But he might get a contract somewhere because of how good he's playing. Just really remarkable stuff. Got to give him a shout out. He's been on one so far this year, and he's probably the most likable quarterback so far this season.
Geno, if you're listening, which I know you are, congratulations. We are huge fans of you. If you want to come on the podcast, call me at 704-771-0403. All right, moving on. My next take.
You just drop your phone number on the pod?
I hope people call me. Trust me, no bitches are calling me, so you might as well get some viewers to call me. All right, I want to talk about the Panthers. As a Carolina native myself, I feel bad for them. I feel real bad. I got a best friend who's a Panthers fan for obvious reasons. You know, Carolina natives are all Panthers fans for obvious reasons. They're not having fun. And trust me, as a Commanders fan, it's not fun when they're not having fun. And you know who that starts with? Matt Rhule. Matt Rhule was electric at Baylor and should have gotten the job at the time with Carolina. I have no problem with him getting it. Led them to New Year's Six Bowl that year. Worked wonders with the Baylor Bears. Then goes to Carolina. First 2 years, not good, but it's fine. You know, some head coaches need to adjust, adapt to the tough environment the NFL presents them. But what are we, year 4 right now under Matt Rhule? And it is still going this way. It's like the stock market right now. You're never going to get it back up. Okay? Matt Rhule, why does he still have a job? Why does Baker still have a job? It blows my mind the direction that Carolina is heading in because it's no direction. No direction whatsoever. The one single positive I can take away from this Panthers team was that McCaffrey actually caught the ball 9 times yesterday. Wow. You see, and he was very good. 26 fantasy points as a proud owner of Christian McCaffrey. He gave like close to 90 yards receiving. Wow. Would you look at what happens when you feed your best player the ball? Blows my mind. Oh, I'll be talking about them later on in my next take. But wow, Devontae Adams actually had more than 5 targets this game. Well, he had a great game and they won. It blows my mind what can happen when you prioritize your best skill position players. They did that with Christian McCaffrey. They still lost, but at least he was good. And that's the only bright side and only takeaway positively I can take with this Panthers team. Baker Mayfield on Prize Picks, I saw over under a half interception. I laughed at my phone screen for a solid 4 minutes and said, there's no way this line is real. I placed it. Of course, that hit, but my other picks didn't hit, which, was fine. And of course, he's like, the reporter's like, do you like the booing? He's like, well, what happened after they booed? We went down and scored a touchdown. Here's the problem, Baker. That was one of your only 2 touchdowns of the game. No, those are only touchdowns because they had field goals after that.
Do you think I want to recollect the Panthers Cardinals game? You were wrong.
To wrap it up, Cardinals are bad. Don't get that twisted. They are terrible as well. But it's like when the Phantom Menace and the Attack of the Clones are playing against each other. It's 2 shitter McBobber pantses, but like one's got to come out on top. So, and unfortunately for the Panthers, it was the Cardinals. Panthers suck, man. They are a bad team, and they will be in contention for the number 1 overall pick. You see Bryce Young saves Carolina, the next Cam Newton 2.0. That's it. They suck. We can move on.
All I'll say is I said right at the start of this, I'm going to mute because I don't want to talk a lick about the Panthers. The only explanation I can give for Matt Ryan still having a job and Baker Mayfield still being the quarterback of this team is that they want Bryce Young or CJ Stroud just so that they can get out of this fucking quarterback purgatory. It's the only explanation I can think of. Because they didn't get in the pick range actually they did in 2020, right? 21. They could have had Justin Fields. They didn't take Justin Fields.
They took J.C. Horn.
Which has been great.
Yeah, Horn's been good. But like, there's only so much.
I mean, they made the right call. Let's be honest. Fields has been poop. But 2022, no quarterbacks available in the draft that really anyone liked. So they went with, I don't even remember who they went with. Oh, Ike Mekwonu, who has not been good. And then I honestly just think they kept Matt Rhule because they're like, we're not getting a QB this year because we didn't get Deshaun Watson. Let's just embrace the shitter and just feel it out for one more year. Then we have hope. But they lost to another franchise that's going like this. They had a college head coach that flamed out in college. Matt Rhule didn't flame out in college like Cliff Kingsbury did. But they both just have not been good NFL head coaches. Just one of them has a great quarterback that keeps his head above water. Meanwhile, the other one doesn't.
His head's barely sticking out of the water.
I'd say he's underwater, drowning at sea level. Except the owner is like feeding him like a straw so he can barely like breathe out of that straw, like a bendy straw.
Yeah.
And he's like barely breathing enough air to stay alive while underwater, while the water pressure is just pressing on him.
Yeah.
All right,
I'm done. The terrible teams.
Yeah,
that's my takeaway. I will never talk about the Panthers again because they'll lose every game.
The next time we talk about the Panthers, it's either Sam Darnold is their starter
or
Rhule got fired.
It'll be our draft pod. Oh, they took Bryce Young. That's wild.
All right. I'll switch over to another team in the division, who we all thought was going to be dog in this season. You and me thought they were going to be the worst team in the NFL. And that's the Atlanta Falcons. And currently, the Atlanta Falcons are 2-2. Huh. Interesting, isn't it? How many wins did you have them getting this season?
3.
I did as well.
I think maybe 4.
Now, do I agree with you that they're not good? Yeah. But I just have to give a quick shout out to Arthur Smith.
Our boy. We never lost the faith. Never lost
the faith. 2 years ago, me and Kurt were the biggest Arthur Smith fan club on the planet. We're like, this dude needs a head coaching job. He's incredible. Great offensive mind. He's making Tannehill look like a top 10 QB. Tannehill leaves. Titans offense, not Tannehill. Arthur Smith leaves. Titans offense kind of goes, Derrick Henry is amazing, so it keeps them alive, but their defense was what made them the 1 seed last year. Now their defense isn't as good. AJ Brown's gone. Even though they're still in the hunt for that division because that division's just the worst. And then Arthur Smith goes to Atlanta last year. Obviously, you have the Calvin Ridley taking time of leave. And obviously, Matt Ryan's old. Kyle Pitts is a rookie. Offensive line is bad. They have no other weapons, like, at all.
I'm like thinking about it. It was such a different team last year.
It was. And their defense had no players to like except AJ Terrell and Grady Jarrett. Grady Jarrett had a bad year. AJ Terrell obviously was a stud. Then you come to this year. And although we still don't think they're a good team, they at least have shown flashes of fun and exciting offense. And what Arthur Smith has done with this team, and the positive of this team, is the offense. Let's not get that messed up. Their offense is fun. He is making this team look good on offense with shit. Absolute shit. He has Tyler Algier and Caleb Huntley at running back, and they were running all over. They were doing good. I didn't even know who Huntley was until yesterday. Drake London's looking really good. I didn't like Drake London coming out. He's looked pretty good. Kyle Pitts, that man refuses to throw to Kyle Pitts.
I know.
I don't know. They're using him in the AJ Brown role, which makes it even weirder that they're not throwing to him that much. So fantasy managers drafting him in the 4th round.
You know who
big red nose.
You know who would throw to them? Bryce Young, CJ Stroud.
Yes, sir.
Just saying. All right. I mean, yeah, Falcons have surpassed my expectations for sure. I agree with you in the sense that I don't think they're that good. But anytime you're 2-2, they're tied for the division lead. Good for them. We'll see how long it lasts. Probably like a week. But hey, at least you can say, you can hang it up as like a banner. Forget the Super Bowl appearance you had. Forget the many winning seasons. No. You were 2-2 in 2022 at some point. That's impressive enough.
And they nearly won week 1, remember? They could be 3-1 right now. They could be 4-0. They nearly beat the Rams. They nearly came back against the Rams. They could be 4-0. This offense is keeping this team afloat.
If they were 4-0, I would never talk about sports again. Seriously.
I just wanted to say, because we probably won't talk a lot about them this year, because Mariota's actually looking pretty nice. This team, we're not going to talk about him a lot, but Arthur Smith, he's gotten criticized and people are putting him near the bottom of their coach rankings. I completely disagree.
Not our boy.
I think if this guy had a good team, they're a playoff team easily. I think he has a top 10 offense easily. But obviously, given the hand he was dealt, it's kind of hard to do. But he is making do with what he has, which you cannot say about a lot of other teams. Zach Taylor. But yeah, just shout out Arthur Smith. We gotta get like Arthur Smith t-shirts, or we should just get FedEx logos all over the place because his dad founded FedEx.
I had no idea. Can we make a Thomas Dimitroff shirt?
That
like just his face on it. You can send it to him.
I mean, I'm down for that. We should dye our hair like him too. Get the spiky hair,
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, that would go hard. I'm down for that. All right. Anyway,
what's your last take?
I was trying to think of the transition. Speaking of coaches, Josh McDaniels. I referenced basically my biggest main point earlier on. Why did it take so long? I know week 1 they did, but in week 2 and 3, there's no Devontae Adams. Now you actually throw him the ball and they win this game. Josh McDaniels, though, is terrible at play calling. He is terrible at play calling. This Raiders team, and I will say, you're the Broncos. You lost to the only 0-3 team in the league. You lost to the Raiders, and you lost to Josh McDaniels in this play calling. What does that say, though, about the Broncos? Like you said, this division's just going to go to the Chiefs. The Broncos and the Raiders both shit in the bed early on in this year. But I want to talk about Josh McDaniels because it's one of those situations where he's not the right guy, but it's only his first year. So it's kind of unfair for you to move on from him. But if they fired him tomorrow, I'd be like, okay, that's fine with me. They should have just kept Bisaccia. They should have. How's he doing over there in Green Bay? Is he holding down the 400 special teams?
Our special teams have been so much better. They're league average, Kurt. I can say that about a Packers special teams unit. It feels amazing.
That's great. That is great. But Josh isn't the guy. They've won. But how many wins do you think this Raiders team is going to get this year? 6?
After
7?
starting 0-3, and considering I was lower on them, 7 or 8.
Yeah. But not even necessarily because Josh Jacobs isn't good, but they gave him high volume, 28 attempts, ran the ball really well. His YPC was fantastic. Had a couple tutties to go along with it too. Devontae Adams got involved with the mix. On paper, this Raiders offense is actually not bad. And when they utilize those players, it's actually pretty good. And we saw that specifically in this past week. But Josh McDaniels is going to go to his regular bullshit soon enough, and he's not going to utilize those guys. So, Josh McDaniels, don't get too excited, Raiders fans. It's not that good, but at least enjoy the win while you have
it. You could say the same about Nathaniel Hackett, who's...
both teams are... Where did my fucking phone go? Both teams are terrible. The Broncos are dreadful. They're done. They're done. You now lost Javonte Williams, Melvin Gordon, 5 fumbles on the year, I think it is. Absurd through 4 games. Absurd. Russell Wilson looks terrible. The defense has been like a fucking bologna cheese that has no cheese. Bologna. And Nathaniel Hackett. All right. Question.
Mm-hmm.
hard off the top of our heads.
Yep.
Where are we ranking Nathaniel Hackett and Josh McDaniels on a head coaching list? Like I said, hard off the top of the head. I can understand if you need a little bit to think of, but relative answer. As I try and
hold on, let me go to standings. Let's just do this real quick. I'm taking every coach in the AFC East over them. I'm taking every coach in the AFC. Actually, I'm taking 3 of the coaches in the AFC North over them clearly. I'm taking Doug Vrabel and Reich over them. I'm taking. I'll just say this. I don't want to do this the whole pod.
It's fair. Sorry, kind of a broad question.
Hackett is bottom 3, probably. I will give him the benefit of the doubt because he is new, and Russell Wilson is just not playing in the offense that he wants to run. They hired him because they wanted Aaron Rodgers. Like, don't let Broncos fans tell you otherwise. They hired Nathaniel Hackett because they wanted Aaron Rodgers. And they're like, oh no, Russ was the plan the whole time. It's only a coincidence that we traded for him hours after Aaron Rodgers said he'd go back. It's only a coincidence. No, they hired Hackett because they wanted Aaron Rodgers. And then they brought in Russell Wilson, and they're trying to run the Green Bay offense, and it's just not working because Russ wants to cook. He wants to take deep shots, and he's not that guy. He wants to play. I sent you that quote. He wants to play to be an MVP. He doesn't want to play to win football games. That's just how he plays football. And Seattle's offense right now, like I brought up with Geno Smith looks like a good quarterback because he's playing in the flow of the offense. That could have been Russ. But it looks like Seattle was right, and they absolutely fleeced the Broncos so far on that trade.
Yeah.
And I will say this, Hackett, I don't think he gets fired mid-season because their entire coaching staff is all rookies. Like their OC is a rookie, their DC is a rookie, their special teams coordinator is a rookie. So firing him literally does you no good. There's no upside to getting an interim. But I think he is absolutely not safe after the season because they got a new ownership group in Denver, and this ownership group did not hire Hackett. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him be a one and done. McDaniels, I'll give him a little more leeway because Derek Carr has been bad, but he hasn't been great either. I'd take McDaniels over a couple of coaches in the league for sure.
Okay.
What about you?
Same. I think McDaniels is a little bit better than Hackett, but I'd probably like stacked too. I think they're pretty even on the totem pole on how bad they are.
Would you take Mike McCarthy over them?
Probably.
Would you take Ron Rivera over them? No. Would you take Matt Rhule?
Ron is sneakily at bottom 2, maybe the worst. Not even just saying that as a fan. Like tier 3, it looks bad. There's no excuse.
What about Matt Rhule?
Oh, Matt Rhule might be the worst. What
about
yeah, Matt Rhule is probably the worst coach in the league.
I think, yeah. Would you take Cliff?
Yeah, I'd take Cliff.
Would you take Zach Taylor?
Yes, easily.
I would too.
But Cliff I'm so hesitant. High. Yeah. So
would you take Lovie Smith?
Oh my God, probably not.
Oh man, I don't know. The Texans' defense has been okay this year.
The Texans are bad. They're a bad team.
They are bad.
They're gonna win like really they're gonna win like 3 or 4 games. It's what we expected out of this team. So nothing's changed.
Enjoy Bryce Young.
Oh my God, can you imagine Bryce Young on the fucking Houston Texans?
That's happen.
Like the worst spot ever. No one gets excited about that.
I can't wait for draft Twitter to overthink Bryce Young and talk themselves into Stroud over him. It's gonna be amazing.
Oh, dude, I already know. Like,
it's already happening. Will Levis is gonna be pick 3.
Like, he's not that good. He's good, because he has a bunch of tools. He has not been good this year. I think Stroud and Young are so far easily 1 and 2. I think Young is 100% better. But like you said, people are going to be like, he's too small. He sometimes has some problems around the pocket. I'm like, shut the fuck up. Shut up. They're both incredible. You cannot go wrong with either one of them. So, all right, last take. Let's hear it.
So I alluded to during my Geno Smith take that there is another quarterback that plays a little bit out of offense and looks bad when playing out of offense, but when he plays within the offense, that man is. Who do you think I'm talking about? Well, you know who I'm talking about. The audience, who do you think I'm talking about? It is Aaron Rodgers. And you're like, Sam, he won back-to-back MVPs in this offense.
Just saying, Rodgers is my fantasy QB. I'm a little upset. Sam, you got to talk to your boy. As a proud owner of that franchise, you need to have a word with him.
I am an owner of the Packers, so I will have a word with my quarterback, or else he's getting cut. I'm paying hard $300 for a piece of paper for him to make $50 million. I pay for like 0.0001% of that contract. So that might have been the worst half of football I've ever seen Aaron Rodgers play in my life. I don't think that's hyperbolic. It's one of the worst. He was horrible in that first half. He was missing open receivers. He was making weird reads. He would not look Romeo Dobbs' way at all after that fumble. He has a tendency to do that. And he would not look at Christian Watson after missing the adjustment on that deep ball. He has this thing where he kind of has a grudge against rookie receivers if they make a mistake, if you haven't noticed already. But in the second half,
I think one of my favorite things about that game was just seeing Aaron Rodgers' frustration in the first half. He's like, if you look at 3 and out, you look at his face, he'd be like, I'm like, bro, it's all right. It's the ayahuasca getting to him.
He was like 3 of 11 for 37 yards. And it had a pick 6, which is unreal for him. He was horrible yesterday in the first half. But then this is Aaron Rodgers for you. He can just flip a switch and become the greatest quarterback to ever play the sport. Because in that second half, he just was elite, just straight up elite. He went back to the flow of the offense. He was hitting Lazard on those crossers. He went back to Dobbs. Dobbs was making those catches on that, except that one catch, which we're not going to talk about because they won the game, thankfully. But he kept going back to Dobbs, and it paid off. Dobbs is a dude. He has looked really good so far, and I'm fully expecting him to be the full-time starter alongside Lazard for the rest of the year. But this Packers offense is gross. It's really not good. The passing attack is lackluster. The running game, I will say, is their bread and butter. But they got to figure out this offensive line situation because Elton Jenkins does not look good on the right side at tackle. Probably moving back inside would be for the best. And their rushing attack on their outside runs is excellent because Aaron Jones is that guy. But Dillon has been a little underwhelming this year. And their play calling is a little odd. But their offense, like they're going against the next few weeks, like they're 3-1 and they have really ugly offensive wins. Their next 3 games are against the Giants, the Jets, and the Commanders. They probably win all 3 of those games, go to 6-1, and they're like, oh, we're fine. I'm still not bought in on this offense. And I was a little hesitant about the offense preseason. I brought this up to you guys. I was the lowest on the Packers out of the 3 of us, and I'm the Packers fan here because I was like, I don't think this offense can be that great. I think this defense is going to be carrying us. And this defense can't stop the run. Just they couldn't last year. They added 2 first-round picks on defense. They have 7 first-round picks overall spent on this defense, and they still can't stop the run. It's gross. It's hard to believe, but they did get down to business against Bailey Zapp and narrowly pull out a victory. I know Rodgers' pick six kind of inflates the numbers that the defense allowed, but the defense did allow some really easy stuff that I have no idea how they don't allow, because it's so simple, so easy, middle of the field crossers that they just allow. These rushing attacks are just slicing them up. It's like, guys, get your shit together, please, because it's kind of looking like the 2019 Green Bay Packers, where the defense is good enough to get stops and win in key games, but the offense is kind of and it's going to be winning a lot of ugly games. And then when you get in the postseason, you face a real team, and then you get slaughtered.
Fair enough, man. I didn't watch all of the game. I watched a little bit of it, primarily the overtime when you guys were actually in a position to cook. Bailey Zapp looked good though. Western Kentucky native himself. He torched App last season, so that wasn't fun. But the Patriots looked pretty good. I was thankful because I picked the Packers in my survivor pick. So we survived in advance. Got a little worried when it was like 24-17 Patriots. It was once anyway. It was Patriots are up by a score. I was getting a little worried there, but thank you, Packers, for getting it done. You have every right to be a little bit worried. But like you said, this team is still in a very good position to be a top 2 seed in the NFC. All you got to really do is figure it out by playoff time, because all signs are pointing towards them making the playoffs again. But quickly, do you have your bets ready? You want to do those real quick?
We can do that. I don't have them ready, so you can go ahead.
Okay. First one I'm going to go with the Steelers plus 14 next week against the Bills on the road. As you guys can tell, I fucking love taking the Steelers to cover. I'm 1-1 with them on covering. Took them week 1 against the Bengals. Took them week 3, I believe it was, against the Browns, or was that week 2? Week 3. So I'm going to take them again in week 5. I think they'll bounce back a little bit against this Bills team. Obviously did not look good against the Jets. We talked about it on this podcast with no TJ Watt. I think they'll keep it relatively close. I think the Bills will win, but it'll be like 10 points. Plus 14 seems a little high, and I think it's going to only get higher. So if I was going to bet, all right, I'm obviously betting it now, but I think the spread's going to go up to like 16 to 17 points by the end of the week. So if you are planning on taking it, I would wait, because I think it's going to get a little bit higher, but I'm going to go with the Steelers plus 14.
I'm going to go with the Tennessee Titans minus 2.5.
Fantastic bet.
Over the Commanders.
Fantastic bet.
I'm not even kidding. Explains itself.
It is way too low. It should be like 4 or 5 points.
Free, buddy. It's free, buddy. It's just because they're on the road against the Commanders. But guys, the Commanders.
There's no such thing as being on the road at FedEx Field. You're at least getting 30% of the capacity. So it's a good bet. How many are we doing? 3?
2.
Oh, 2?
I've got my next one if you don't have yours.
Yeah, you got it.
49ers minus 5 over the Panthers. That's just
that's great.
It's free money.
I like your bets this week.
Thank you. These are just, I don't know why these spreads are so low. It's just because these teams are on the road, but like, look at who they're facing. Just pure incompetence. It's just ridiculous.
I will go with Lions Pats over 46.5 points. The Lions are king of being over this year. The Patriots showed a little bit of offensive flashes against you guys. I think the running attack will primarily be great again. So I think it's gonna continue for the Lions. They'll put up some points, and I think 48.5 is gonna be the over.
The Lions have scored the most points in the NFL this year, but are 1-3.
Gotta have a defense, man.
They're tanking the right way, though.
They are.
That's for sure.
About that. All right. Takeaway Tuesday, week 5. We'll be back next week. Sully will be part of that, so make sure you tune in. Thank you guys for listening, and until next time, we will see you guys later. Goodbye.